Hello friends, welcome back to my studio. Hope you're well. Yes, I've got my gel plate out. We're going to do a bit of gel printing today. This is the gel plate that was quite large, that had the mark from the tray in it, and it was quite thin and floppy, so I've remelted it all down. I've got this lovely thick plate. I didn't add any water to it, so it's quite firm, and I think it'll help with what I'm going to do with it today. Because you know me, I don't just do the conventional, I like to experiment. And ages ago I showed you this linen that I'd bought, this gessoed linen in a roll, gessoed on one side, pre-gessoed, and the linen, raw linen. And I've stretched it up onto this probably about a 12 by 12 frame, and I've put the gesso on the back, even though you should really have stretched it. I should have stretched it the other way. I really want to utilize this raw canvas, and it's been sitting there for some time and I haven't known what to do with it. And then I finally thought about these offcuts that I've got, and I've also, of course, from stretching up cotton canvas, I've got a whole lot of cotton canvas left over that's not in a big enough piece to stretch, so there's all these scraps, and it seems so wasteful just to throw those out. So what I'm thinking is, if I can get this in shot, is to build something, and I've cut some of these up, kind of build something of interest, because I've often thought about having stitching on the canvas as well, and I want to colour this in a way that I've been doing my recent landscapes, and somehow this will spill out onto this. And yeah, I don't know. Just an idea, and this is what you've got to do. This might be a complete fail and it might be absolutely fabulous, and you've got to continue, I believe, to push the boundaries in your art making and your art practice. So that's what I'm going to do today, is have a play around with getting some paint on the cotton. And I want it to be quite subtle because of the earthiness of this and what I'm going for. I want the paint on here not to be as thick as I've been doing on the canvas work. So I thought I would try and get the paint on with the gel plate. And so I'm going to experiment, and if you're watching this, it means it's been reasonably successful. I've done a test. I've put it, this is just one of these with plain white gesso on. This is raw, and then this one I've got some binder medium, so it's still a little bit wet, but it will dry clear and be pretty much the same color as raw. This is what I'm talking about when I say binder medium. I've talked about this before. It gives a coat, a protective coat to the canvas like gesso does, but it dries clear, goes on milky, and then will dry clear. So I'll see which of these three, the paint from the gel plate, which picks up the best, and then I will continue on with whatever I think is the best out of those three. So as soon as these dry, we'll get some paint on the gel plate and have a play. Well, that was a whole lot of fun. So here we are, here's the raw, the gesso and the binder, and as suspected, the raw canvas really soaked up the paint. I was hoping it would give me a nice subtle feeling, but it's really not what I'd hoped for and not what I'm after. And the gesso as well, I thought it would sit up on the gesso quite nicely, but really, and I don't know whether it's because it was the third one and I got used to it and I got perhaps a little bit better, but this binder one is magical. This is exactly what I'm after. Still nice and subtle, where you can see a little bit of the canvas showing through, but yeah, that's just really, really lovely. And how is that little, like a ghost print, I guess, but it's not ghosty. That is just really, really lovely as well. So I'll be painting all of my strips with this binder medium, and I'm just about out of it, so there's a great excuse to head off to the art supply store. I'll get some more binder medium, paint up these and have a play. I think this is the way forward, just the way the paint is sitting on that, where I'm getting the subtlety but I'm also getting some vibrancy. Yeah, really, really lovely. So I hope that inspires you to get playing with your gel plate and know that you don't just have to take prints on paper. You can really print on anything, and you can actually print images. You don't have to just do all these textures and things. And I think this is going to look really lovely. On my, not sure whether I'll use that or not, seeing as that's so lovely. But yeah, the idea is now to carry this line. Yeah, I'll show you in the next vlog once I've done a heap of these. So that's it from me this week. I hope you have a lovely week. Thank you so much for being here and for watching. You really, really appreciate you being here. I'll see you next week. Bye.